Some narcissists, for example, covert narcissists, oftentimes don't really feel that the way they use and abuse people is even doing anything wrong. They have an ability to convince themselves that everything that they inflict upon the target, upon their supply romantic partner, is deserved in a way, and that the person somehow had it coming. And with that kind of mentality, it's much easier for them to keep their ways going and treating people the way they do without feeling bad about it or having any, I guess, negative repercussions on their conscience. And if we look at covert narcissists, for example, when they target somebody, the way they typically approach it is, instead of going out, finding a target and using, abusing, what covert narcissists do is they make themselves really appealing so that the target, the potential supply, approaches them. What they do is they make themselves seem very magnetic, very even mysterious and enigmatic in a way, but with kind of their the way they carry themselves and their personality, they keep themselves very open to the person kind of entering into their space, very inviting. And what happens is when the target, when the supply finds themselves becoming attracted to the covert narcissist, they gradually get closer and closer in terms of the sentimental aspect, in terms of just getting to want to know the person. They're growing fond of the person. They might be developing a physical attraction to the person, perhaps romantic feelings as well. What the covert narcissist so often does is they just carry themselves in this very inviting way so that a target who they consider to be someone who's compatible with the abuse that they will later outlay just approaches them. And it's only once the target is about 99% of the way into the covert narcissist space that the covert narcissist just takes that extra step to fully captivate in a way and ensnare the person. So the person just really falls really hard for the narcissist. A very deep attraction, they feel a very deep connection towards the narcissist. All of a sudden they feel this deep bond that they find that they can't suddenly break, because this bond all of a sudden is very important to the target. Maybe there's a lot about the bond that carries things that the target's been missing for so long in their lives, and all of a sudden they feel almost this homely feeling. But taking all that together, what you have is the covert narcissist has invited this target to come into their life, and they've in a way entrapped the person. And once they've done that, then they can all of a sudden revert back to their usual way with people, which is, lots of projection, using people for personal interest, always having ulterior motives behind everything they do or say. And basically it quickly becomes a one-sided relationship. And of course the target gets very confused when they see the flip, the flip from this magnetic, inviting, kind person to this cold, using and abusing person, and the target can't really put their finger on what's just happened. It's utter confusion, really. But that's how so many narcissists, in particular many covert narcissists, operate. They don't always go out on the attack, finding people to ensnare by force. It's not really like that. What you often have is that the narcissist carries themselves in a very open, inviting manner, putting on this allure, magnetism, which isn't sustainable, and it isn't real either. It's there just to draw the person in, and then once the person's drawn in, all those things wither away, and then the narcissist, what's behind the mask, comes to the surface, and obviously the target gets really confused. And unless they know about narcissism, which oftentimes the target doesn't, then they just won't know what's happening. They might feel like they're losing their mind. They might question their own sanity. So yeah, that's just something to think about in terms of how covert narcissists and some other narcissists tend to operate when it comes to ensnaring people. They don't go out 100% actively trying to ensnare. What they do is when they see potential targets, they invite the targets in. And then, because the target in the narcissist's mind has taken most of the steps towards them, it's almost as if the target had it coming. The target was the one that approached the narcissist. Narcissists so often manage to convince themselves that they haven't done anything wrong. It was them. It was the target who felt attracted to the narcissist. The narcissist only took one step towards them. They took 10 steps towards the narcissist. This kind of a way of thinking in the narcissist's mind, they can justify away what will later be the uses and abuses and negative projections onto the person. So, just something to think about when it comes to narcissists. It doesn't really matter what they do, how much they harm people. More often than not, they don't really consider what they're doing as being something bad. They don't really consider that they're harming someone, and they so often don't consider that they're even doing anything wrong. And because of that, they don't really carry a guilty conscience. Maybe some do, but a lot don't. And a lot of that ties in with just the way they approach their targets, which is, instead of going on the attack, they let the targets come to them.